거기 갔다 왔어?
끝으로 여러분 주님 안에서 그리고 주님의 능력으로 강해지십시오. 끝으로 여러분 주님 안에서 그리고 주님의 능력으로 강해지십시오. En fait, devenez fort avec la force très puissante du Seigneur. Solo mi restar desea que os mantengáis fuertes, apoyados en el poder irrésistible del Seigneur. Au reste, soyez puissants dans le Seigneur par sa force souveraine. Soyez puissants dans le Seigneur par sa force souveraine. Final word. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power.
So please stay tuned. I also want to say thank you for your patience as we've been navigating the transition to streaming live. Please know that we do have concerns you have about the live stream is being reviewed by our team. With that said, let me proclaim today's worship passage.
Summary of spiritual pathways. I was just re-looking through this, something that I did through my training at Power to Change, because I wanted to remember what were the best ways that I connected with God. And for me was worship, relational, and intellectual. So for worship, I draw closer to God in shared celebration. Don't want to just know things about God. They want to know God and experience him. They're inspired by joyful celebration and yearn to explore excitement, awe, beauty, majesty, and splendor in worship. Intellectual, feel closer to God when they're reading, discussing, studying, thinking, and learning. They may feel closest to God when they understand something new about him. Relational, their best moments happen in community. They like to learn with others, serve with others, worship with others. They both see God and discover God in the midst of connecting with people. The reason why I am looking through this again is because these days I've been realizing through my counselor that I haven't been spending a lot of time, breathing in. And so if as a Christian we need to have a breathing in and breathing out, we need to do that just as equally. And I've been just like breathing out so much. And I think my breathing out is through relational, but just not enough breathing in and just remembering like, how do I connect with God and how do I keep making time for that? And that is through worship and through reading books about him, just constantly, or podcasts, just like constantly trying to increase my knowledge about him. And that's just part of a lot of other things that I've been doing. And for example, I also pulled out something we did for our training called the Birkman report. I believe you have to pay for this. And it just talks about like, what are my needs? So what are my social energy needs, physical energy, emotional energy, self-consciousness, assertiveness, just knowing what is my usual behavior and how I end up in stress. Like I'm just trying to learn more about myself so that I can better take care of myself and know my limits. And so I'm trying to write everything out and then just try to memorize it. And I've also purchased this test called the VIA Values test that my aunt recommended. And it's finding what your values are, what are your top 10, what are your bottom 10. And I think the reason why I wanted to know about my values is how can I strengthen those values, know what they are, know what I stand for and believe in, but also how can I work on my bottom 10. I think it's really important to know yourself, to take care of yourself, what you need, and so making time for that. And something my counselor said is us in being, we need to make time for us to be. We need to expend that energy in being, whether it's being creative, seeing the beauty in everything. And so I'm just trying to understand more of who I am and actually not just know it by my heart, but like understand it and just be aware of that, and so that I don't burn out as much. I wanted to share a little bit more about this and share with people so that it helps them. So there's a couple of links I can share to do both of these, and it's just, yeah, good to know. And something I'll mention about the pathways test that Daniel said is that it's kind of like you're all of these things, I think, like all 7 of these things, but just like what are you drawn to most? So, because he's like, well, doesn't everybody experience God like intellectually? I'm like, yeah, I guess so when you know more about him, but like, how do you connect with him the most? Could I fit all this in my mouth? Hmm.